from the night of July 10th to July 15th, China's capital, Beijing, was struck by the most intense rainfall in over a decade. Starting that evening, the heaviest rainfall in over a decade began. This sudden catastrophe was caused by the convergence of Typhoon Dana's remnants and the summer monsoon, resulting in an extremely concentrated downpour within a short period, which overwhelmed drainage systems, flooded urban areas, shut down public transportation, and forced mass evacuations. Within hours, key lifelines of the city collapsed under pressure, exposing serious structural weaknesses in Beijing's flood defense and drainage infrastructure. In particular, Chaoyang District saw hourly rainfall exceed 68 millimeters, hitting extreme levels. Similar rainfall intensity was reported in other districts as well, prompting the Beijing Meteorological Service to issue a blue-level rainstorm warning. The torrential rain turned streets into rivers within minutes, flooding underground parking lots and disrupting subway services. Despite Beijing's ongoing efforts to build a sponge city, the urban infrastructure struggled to cope with the sheer volume of rainfall. Storm drains and culverts were quickly overwhelmed. This isn't a canal, it's a city street, and there's a boat on it. Residents watched in disbelief as the city turned into a water world. Emergency services swiftly mobilized, issuing preemptive evacuation orders in low-lying areas and near mountainous zones prone to flash floods. Firefighters, medics, and transportation workers were deployed to assist residents, drain waterlogged streets, and monitor secondary hazards such as landslides and mudslides. Authorities urged the public to avoid flooded areas, stay clear of sunken roads and underpasses, and not attempt to drive through standing water. The deluge brought Beijing's major transport arteries to a standstill. Numerous flights were cancelled, and several subway lines were shut down due to water intrusion. More than 10,000 people were urgently relocated, and neighboring provinces also saw evacuations. This event has underscored how even a well-resourced capital like Beijing can prove alarmingly vulnerable to extreme weather. And it wasn't just Beijing. The storm system impacted vast regions of southwestern and central China. In Guizhou and Sichuan, more than 25 rivers rose above warning levels, some breaking historical records for high water levels. Guizhou's Qishui River surged to its highest point since 1953, while Sichuan's Shaojiao River reached its highest in nearly 3 decades. Look at Longhai Road, the tunnel entrance. People are still trapped in there. Several drowned. This eyewitness account illustrates
an increasingly
the grim
frequent
human
climate
cost of the disaster. According to official sources, more than 80,000 people have been evacuated across affected regions. With the flood season ongoing, dams remain under heavy pressure, and national water authorities continue to issue flood warnings. Experts say this disaster is the result of a complex convergence of meteorological factors, remnant typhoon energy, maritime moisture transport, and the intensifying impacts of global climate change. Meteorologists are warning that, in a warming climate, these moisture convergence zones where tropical air meets inland systems, will likely become more frequent and violent. Before the rainstorm, Beijing was already in the grip of a heat wave, putting additional strain on emergency response systems. Health authorities have issued separate advisories. Floodwaters may contaminate drinking water and spread disease. Residents are advised to boil water before use, avoid skin contact with floodwaters, and seek medical help if they experience any symptoms. Through July 13th, forecasts predict more rain. Risks remain high, particularly in mountainous and rural fringe areas, where rain and terrain combine to heighten the risk of flash floods and geological disasters. The government remains on high alert, urging citizens to follow official updates from the Weather Bureau and emergency broadcasts, and to verify all information from reliable sources only. Beijing officials have pledged to continue rescue and relief operations and will provide real-time updates through government channels. This sudden flood in Beijing is just one snapshot of the extreme weather crisis sweeping across China in the summer. From Guangzhou to Chongqing, cities are reinforcing their defenses in anticipation of more storms. This disaster is another wake-up call. How prepared are we in a world where climate systems are growing increasingly unstable? Beijing is now beginning the long road to recovery, but the flooded streets, broken dams, and displaced families are not just statistics. They are a testament to the human cost and to the limits of infrastructure and preparation. This is more than a disaster report. It's a story of resilience, of how we survive, rebuild, and adapt. If this report moved you or helped you understand the scope of the crisis, please like the video, leave a comment to share your thoughts, and share it to raise public awareness. We welcome your voice. How should a city like Beijing prepare for the next great flood? What role can each of us play? Stay safe, stay informed, and above all, stay connected. Beijing flood climate crisis extreme. Weather emergency response China. Rainstorm urban flooding disaster recovery.
落水道，出水道那个口，里面还。